Greetings, 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 everyone. I am CiaraWimby, and I am the founder and CEO of LIV You Nonprofit. And I am also the physical wellness self care coach with LIV You. And we have one of our people that's running late today. Oh, she's there. Let me admit her on right now. And while she's coming on in, let me just quickly go over some of our ground rules and just any attendees that will be coming on today, letting them know that it's being recorded. So if they don't want to be seen, to make sure that they keep their cameras muted, as well as muting their phone until we're ready to have audience feedback. Make sure that we're respectful for everyone's opinions and also allowing people time to finish speaking. Our timekeeper isn't here today, so that's Cicely. She is actually having her a self-care weekend. So she's having a girls' trip. So hopefully, we'll get to hear what fun she had next weekend. And always, as always, we want to make sure that people have fun because self care doesn't have to be strict or boring. And anytime we get together for our events, it doesn't have to be strict or boring. We're providing information, but we also want to make sure that we're doing it in a fun and enjoyable manner. So, Stephany, you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Hello, I am Stephany, the spiritual wellness coach. Sorry, I got my phone and trying to get to our Facebook page. But yes, I am Stephany. I'm a spiritual wellness coach. So welcome. And we send Cicely lots of fun and love because I know she having a ball. I'm
Having her a
jealous.
good old time. So, just real quick, also live you want always to make sure that we let people know who we are. So we are a nonprofit organization, and our mission is to help women with self care, with practicing self care every day, every single day, because self care isn't a one and done situation. It is a one and always situation. So we want to make sure that we're supporting women in doing that. And so the question that we have for the week is how do you self-care? How do you practice self-care? Or not, that wasn't it. I'm making stuff up. How do you value? Look, let me just go find the question. How about that? And then I can say it specifically because sometimes there's a lot going on in a week. You can't remember everything.
Hmm.
Question of the week.
Everything happens.
Question of the week. How do you value yourself? That's the question of the week. That's the specific question. So I didn't receive anything, but I don't know if you received anything. Did you receive anything from anyone, Stephany? Saying how they valued themselves.
I did not receive anything from anyone stating how they value themselves. But in terms of what you said about a self care journey, I did receive something about the tools that we have. One of our posts that we made about the tools and resources, wanting more, but you don't have the time to research. Someone did say that what we're doing is an awesome thing and this is great for someone starting out their self-care journey, but just as you said, this is not a journey that is halted or you're one and done. It is a journey, it is a process. At any point in time during your self-care journey, life happens. Anything can jump in the middle of this journey and derail you from what it is that you're supposed to be doing for yourself. And so we're not just here for that one short term thing. This is a continuation. It is a journey. It is a movement. We need to move this self care, push this to the front because of in terms of valuing yourself, life will derail you and you will forget to value yourself. You will forget how to do that because you may even think, I don't even know what I do for myself now. So how can I value myself if I don't know what it is that I do for me now? So Live You is here to continue to support and remind you that you are important. You, the self, are important. Yes, you have so many different hats that you wear. Yes, you have so many different things and priorities and responsibilities that you are in charge of, but you are also a priority and you are also important. So, therefore, we're going to continue to help push that self care of you to the front because without you, will those priorities still get done? You know?
Exactly. Exactly. So we're gonna, so I have a kind of defining what valuing uh self-care looks like. So value or valuing yourself. So
Mm-hmm.
valuing yourself is defined as confidence in one's own merit or importance and their
Mm.
self-worth.
Oh,
And
okay.
a lot of times when we talk about valuing, it's always valuing maybe money or, valuing some material object, or even valuing somebody else's thought or feelings above our own thought or feelings. And so um and I hear a lot, that people struggle with like confidence, having confidence in the
Mm-hmm.
things that they do, or feeling worthy of something, either somebody's time or an experience, or
Mm-hmm.
even money, or looking well or whatever. And so that's why, I think that's one of the reasons that we picked this topic as, part of the month of February, because February is the month of love. Woo. It's
Yes, it
also the
is.
month of Black History, so we don't want to leave that out either. But so don't worry about it. We will have a topic on that in a couple of weeks. Next week,
Yep.
we're actually doing our painting event. So if you
Mm-hmm.
haven't gotten your painting supplies, you probably won't get it in time. So hopefully, people got their painting supplies. So we'll be painting. But it's the month of love and the month of Black History. But this particular first of what is this, our first weekend of the February month, we wanted to really talk about valuing yourself, because love should start where, with oneself.
Right.
And so that love, how do we value what we love, or should love the most?
Mm-hmm.
Because you can ask somebody, and people who are mothers, you may ask them, well, who do you love? The first thing out their mouth is their kids,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
rarely is the first thing out their mouth myself, and then my kids. Or if somebody's married, it may be my husband, my kids, or my kids and my husband, and then, oh yeah, me.
Right. Or even when mothers are making dinner, they make the kids' foods first, maybe their husbands next, and then themselves last. And so there's nothing wrong with that in a sense, but just in terms of just stimulating the thought when you talk about valuing yourself. There's nothing wrong with saying that I love me and I love my kids. That doesn't mean that you love your kids less or you love yourself more than. That doesn't mean that. Like, it's okay to say I do love me and I love my kids. Just the structure of the sentence itself, just in terms of valuing yourself. Little things like that we don't really think about when it comes to expressing how we feel, or if we say, I'm doing things for, people have to accept me and my kids. Well, why can't you just say, well, people have to accept me because your kids are a part of you. So it's okay to say that, I love me, accept me, because your kids are an extension of you. They're not going to go anywhere. They're not going anywhere. And they're going to be there. So for a person to love and value you, then they're going to love and value the extensions of you as well.
And always my thought process is, to even want somebody else to love you, you first have to have that love for yourself. Growing up, I can remember my mother always telling me, Cece, you have to love yourself. And my thought was, well, you love me enough for everybody. Like I don't have to do that. Like I'm fine. You got that covered. Because my mother was overly caring, affectionate, loving, for me, protective, all of that. And so in my thought process, oh, you got that covered. Like I don't have to do that myself. And that was always her stance. No, you have to love yourself. And well, what does that look like? Or, how is that? And we would have different conversations about that. And then when my mom passed away, I'm looking around like, well, who gonna love me now? Who's going to value me as much as she did? Because she would let me know I was her baby, I was her investment, I was this person to her. And so I would hear the thoughts in my mind, which was my mama said, because I'm a big one of those my mama said persons.
Yes.
uh
Yes. My
because
mama said.
Because my mama said I had to love myself and value myself uh, more than the next person. And I
Mhm.
took that to heart because if my mama said it was true, it had to be true. And it's so many times I've met people throughout my life that do not value themselves and put themselves as a priority above everybody else. And when I say that, that's not meaning that we have to belittle people or we don't have to
Mhm.
think about people or we don't care about other people. But so this is, I go back to my accountant's mindset, which is you are your most valuable asset.
Mhm.
And if you aren't valuing you and taking care of you, as you said earlier, there's no way you can give out anything that you don't have within to give out.
Mhm. Mhm. Um, I tell others a lot of times, when it comes to value and love, that the value that you are willing to give to someone else or seeing someone else or the love that you're willing to give someone else, you deserve that too. You deserve your own love.
You
You
deserve it
deserve to
first,
value yourself
not
too.
two, first.
Right, first, you deserve that too. And so as I see it, we see it on social media all the time about loyalty, about love, about all that good old stuff and how much they are willing to do for another person, but they did it for the wrong person. So imagine what I would do if I had the right person. You are the right person.
You
You
say it
are the
again.
person.
Can we hear that one more time?
You are the right person. You are the person. Give that to yourself first. Because what you put out is what you get back. If you don't give that to yourself first, how do you expect for somebody else to give it to you? Because
Mm-hmm.
you haven't shown them or yourself what that looks like. And then if somebody does give it to you and you haven't given it to yourself, you may not know how to use it. You may not know how to deal with that because it's foreign. You may not know how to work a stove if you never had one. So it's those little things that is so important in terms of love and value. And so I want to talk about the values. How do you self value yourself spiritually? So some things that I had put together was taking time for yourself just to meditate. You don't have to meditate for some hours. We I meditate for hours. I can. My mind, my body, I just let it all go and it just goes. So my subconscious level takes over. But I had to start that practice. I had to build that muscle. And so I started off at 5 minutes, 3 minutes, and then five, then 10. And then I built myself up into the point where I don't need to keep track of time anymore, unless I'm on a time crunch and I got to clock in for work or something, because I like to get things done early in the morning where ain't no light out, because I ain't nobody got time for that. But
You like to operate in the dark. Yes.
as I operate in the dark. So that's where I see the most, because that's honestly where our work needs to be done, is the shadow work. It's the things that we don't want to confront. And so I have to see the dark. That's the only way I can see, because you can show me whatever you want to show me in the light. Anybody can see that, but it's in the dark where you don't want to show anything, because that's where the insecurities pop up. That's where the self-doubt comes in. But that's where I see it, and I'm like, okay, this is how we can move forward. This is how we can strengthen that, because it's only in the dark because you haven't confronted. Once it comes out, it's similar to fear. Fear is the unknown.
And
Once
so when
you
you said
know,
that, it made me think about lies.
mm-hmm,
When people lie, it's only
yeah,
a lie until it comes out, and one day it's gonna come out. So you might as
it's
well
gonna come out.
volunteer it, or
And life is funny like that. Like the universe is very funny like that. They will be, hey, how y'all doing? Y'all remember me? You remember when you said this over here and it was just y'all too? You thought, here I come, here I kitty come. So I'm out here in the light for everybody to see me now. So it's just like fear. Fear's done. It's because it's unknown. But once you get it to the light, you can solve it. It's nothing to be afraid of anymore. So take time to meditate, even if it's 5 minutes. I promise you, it's going to change your thought process. It's going to change your perception on some things, because you're going to have a clearer mind, a clearer heart space. You'll be able to feel things clearer, and not through overthinking or anything like that. Because if you think too much, it'll cloud emotions, can cloud your judgment. But if you overthink, it'll also cloud your judgment as well. So you have to find that balance. And the way to do that, spiritually valuing yourself, is just taking time to meditate, even if it's just 10 minutes.
I love that.
hmm Also, another thing is exploring your spiritual core. I thought this was interesting because
Tell
when
me
you talk
more.
about
Tell me
spiritual core,
more.
yes, yes, when you talk about exploring your spiritual core, you have to ask yourself, what do I value? What do I value? You have to ask yourself that, not what I like, even though it stems from that, but what do I value as a person? Because we are all human
I'm gonna
first.
type that
So
in
as
the
a human
comment
being,
so that whenever somebody goes back to seeing this video, well, if they're on Facebook, because when it gets loaded to YouTube, it won't be there. But in Facebook, they can answer that when they go back and watch this.
yes, yes. And so also, what is your purpose? Who are you? Who am I? Who Ask yourself those questions, and do it from a heart space, because you can think about it all day long, and that's fine. Okay. No problem with that, because you have to. The brain and the heart does work together like that. But some things you need to really feel within yourself spiritually, and just ask yourself, who am I, from a heart space, not what you do, because what you do don't define who you are. Your occupation does not define who you are. And I don't know if we said this in our last live, but I was telling Ciara in our conversation, I had a meeting with a chief justice, and it was just a quick hour meeting, and he was just giving us different nuggets in about law and being an attorney and things like that. And he specifically said that being a lawyer, your profession doesn't define who you are, because as lawyers, as attorneys, we have to operate as a citizen. Now, it's saying that I'm not an attorney, I cannot give legal advice. Let me say that now.
Brittany
But
trying to
we
go to jail off the stuff that she cannot
Right.
come
No,
out.
I'm not an attorney. I could not give legal advice. So, but on this journey of mine, because I've decided to go to this route, I am a citizen. I am a person. And as a person with legal knowledge, and considering this is the route that I've chosen, I have to still be me in the process of my profession. So what you do does not define who you are. Who you are can define what you do.
So can you
And who
answer that
you
for us,
are,
for you? And
I'm
I'll answer
sorry.
it. Can you answer that for the audience, for you? Who are you? What do you value? What is your purpose? Can you answer that for us? And then I'll
So
answer it as well.
who am I? I am a spiritual being, a very heightened spiritual being, and I'm definitely having a human experience. I get mad, I get emotional, I get mad. I go through 100 different emotions in 2 hours. I can't tell you which one. Just be patient with me. I'm sorry. I don't know which one's gonna come out, but I am a spiritual being placed here on this earth to help people find their purpose and get to their journey. So, like a spiritual guide, and I'm here to guide people onto their specific journey that's tailored to them, because each person has their own journey, but it doesn't mean that each person don't have the same purpose. So I'm not the only spiritual coach. I'm not the only spiritual guide. There's more spiritual coaches. There's more spiritual guides.
You
That may be even
value
more knowledgeable
yourself.
than I am.
Question of the week. That's the specific.
Doesn't mean that each person. So I good look. I thought it was a song, so I'm sitting up here getting my one move in. I'm ready to get my 1 2 step in. I thought it was a song.
No,
So
like you did. I thought I hit the other button too, didn't?
right. So that's what I'm here to do. That's who I am. That's what I'm here to do. And my purpose is to help show others that your current circumstances, your environment is not the end all be all. There is more outside of what your original foundation of life is. It's so funny because I used to tell people I mess up your whole foundation of your whole understandings of life. Younger years, younger, just where the enlightened part wasn't there yet. But throughout my whole life, I've always known that I've had a spiritual awareness, a very heightened spiritual awareness, because some of the stories that I've told Ciara that I haven't even talked about, and it's so funny, I haven't even talked about, because some of the things that's happened, I'm like, oh, I didn't know that was dangerous. Oh my God, oh, I didn't know that. Oh my God, this happened. I get so surprised, like, y'all scared? What's wrong? And Ciara like, no, it is. It's dangerous. I'm going home. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I didn't hear a red flag. I didn't see no lights. Nobody cheered. Nobody did nothing. I just continued to go on. And so, is it luck? It could be. But I definitely know that when there is danger, like within myself, within my soul, my gut feeling, my heart space, I know when my exit is. And so I'm here to help people and show them that you are more than your experience. You are more than your environment. I'm just here to show you. That's it. I'm just here to show you that you can come from the bottom and you can go up to the top if you want to, or anywhere in between. It really depends on how you feel or what you want to do, what your level is. I'm just here to show you that there's another way to live life that's healthy, that's safe, and that's happy according to your standard.
And then also one more that you asked, which was, what do you value?
What do I value? I value me. I do. I value me because I have gone through so many different things in my life, and I am not crazy. It's not documented. So I'm not I am not crazy. I can talk
Just the fact
about,
that you said all of that makes us wonder over here.
yeah, I can talk about almost anything in my life without crying or flinching or having a meltdown, because I've gotten past it. And I say almost because there's certain things that's gonna go to the crazy and I'm cool with that. But I value me, because you gotta pat yourself on the back because you did it. I did it. I got through some things, and I'm still here to tell somebody that I went through the exact same things you did, and I'm still here. I'm
And
not,
you're here.
I don't need to be on a whole bunch of medication to wake up and function every day. I don't need to go through therapy to go function. Not to say therapy is not a good choice, because therapy is necessary for many people. And there's been times in my life where I have seen a therapist and I've gotten some things done. And it was a great feeling. But I also know that that's not something that I need to be dependent on. Like, I can stand on my own 2 feet.
It
I
wasn't.
can do whatever it is I need to do and move forward. So I value me because I love me. And yeah, I've been through everything. I've been through a firestorm, and I'm still here. So a younger me will say I value something else, but the me today, I value myself.
Alrighty, so I'm gonna go in and look in before I go to mine.
Mm-hmm.
Look at our comments, and so Auntie Beverly says, "I found that my purpose is to encourage others," and she says, "I am a giver of charity, love, if only with a cheerful smile."
Mm.
Good, good,
Okay.
good. So, for myself, and look, I want to go to the questions that we asked because I typed them, so I know what they are now.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay. Right.
so,
Okay.
and I actually said, "Who, what do you value?" So I'll go back and edit that later. But what do I value? And my value is actually myself. I do value myself, and the reason that I am my most important thing or my most important asset is because literally without me, I don't seem to be able to get things done.
There it is.
and- I mean, it's just really just that simple. Like if I'm not here, I'm literally not here. So
Mm-hmm.
I think the thing is that everybody does things for the benefit of themselves, no matter what they say, even if they're like, oh, I think about others above myself, or I put others first. Ultimately, we still need to value who we are, and make ourselves of some importance, or we
Mm-hmm.
cease to exist. We cease
Yes.
to exist in a physical form, aka we die and move on, or we cease to exist in somebody else's physical space. Um,
Yes.
if we don't value ourselves because somebody then takes advantage of you or abuses you or devalues you or whatever it is, if you're not putting that focus on yourself first.
Right.
Um, and then what is your purpose? My purpose is to help heal. I realized some time ago that I'm a healer. And my purpose is to help with helping, and not necessarily in terms of healing people, but showing people how to heal themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times we're still seeking a healer, or let's say medicine or doctors or somebody to show us, or do it for us, not show us, to do it for us. So you may seek a healer to uh heal you, but healers also teach you how to do it for yourself. So it goes
That's
back to
right.
that old saying, and of course I know I won't get it all the way right, because why should I don't have to. I don't memorize things. That's not what I do. But if I feed you fish, you'll have food for the day. But if I teach you how to fish, you'll have the fish forever. So I am. And so when he says what is part of the purpose and heal, I'm a teacher. I teach, and the teaching that I do is how to heal or align all the various aspects of ourselves
Mm-hmm.
together,
Mm-hmm.
because there's not one person I haven't met that hasn't gone through something. I mean, just coming into this world, you went through something trying to squeeze your body up out of somebody's little hole. You done went through some
Mm-hmm.
things.
Mm-hmm.
So we go through things in life, and so how do we process and digest life
Right.
so that we can continue to be functioning people, so that we can do the things that we want to do, or live out our purpose for whatever reason that we're here. Because if we can't align all of our different issues, then it's a little hard to focus on a purpose. Like your mind is too many places.
Yeah.
And who are you from a heart space? So that goes to me being a teacher. From a heart space, I am a teacher. So my purpose is healing. What do I do from a heart space? I'm a teacher. I can remember being a child, and it can still happen today, but really a lot during my, let's say, grammar school, high school, and even college years. People would look at me. So I actually I wear glasses. I don't have on contacts now because heck, I can see up close, but I can't see at a distance. But and especially when I would start wearing glasses, people would say, you look like a teacher. And I don't know why, but that used to just burn me up because teachers, in your mind, those are people that just, I didn't want to be a teacher. That's boring.
Teach y'all.
And I didn't like kids as a kid. So I was like, a teacher? They're like, yeah, I can see you being a teacher because, again, my mind was still limited on what teaching looked like. And for me, teachers just look like educators in a classroom setting with children. And as a kid, I have a very good memory of the bad ass kids that were in class. And I was thinking, I'm not dealing with those.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
Mm-mm.
It's 30
No.
plus of
Mm-mm.
those. I don't want to deal with 30 plus people's kids.
Yeah.
So I always rejected that notion of teaching, but then, which was interesting because I knew that my mother was a trainer and she trained adults, but in my mind, trainer was a different word than teacher. So I didn't really connect in my brain that I could be a teacher slash, for adults. And so when I finally, that clicked in my mind, and I understood that, and I started being a coach or a mentor or a trainer and things like that, I realized this is my niche. This is what I do. It's just me and little
Right.
people. I'm not a fan of the little people aspect. I
Mm-hmm.
like to do it with adults, even though anytime I am working with children, I always seem to have a good experience with them, and they seem to have a good experience from me. But I'm still like, I think I got PTSD from all the bad kids in school and growing up around it. I'm just like, no, no, what? Okay, I know that was nice, that was fun. Yeah, we doing it again. I don't know. I'll get back to you maybe next year. Like a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. But so that's where I am with that. So alrighty. So I just
And you
wanted to
know,
be able to point those things out for ourselves. We ask people,
yeah,
but to also be able to give it back to people so that they know who we are.
yes. And for me, being a spiritual guide does not mean that I'm finna guide you to the light. I'm not doing that because I ain't even trying to go to the light right now. I got things to do. But I am going to guide you to your journey. And being a spiritual guide for me is like being a neutral party, because I love and respect and understand the spiritual realm of things and how things work over there. But having a human experience limits my ability to fully be over in the spiritual world, because I have some things here on the human plane that I have to do. And so being a neutral party, and experiencing humanistic behaviors and human like activities, I cannot guide you over to the light, because as a human, I still have things that I have to do in my human form. I still have things and missions that I still have to complete as well. So I can't guide you to the light. So please don't ask me, because it's gonna be like, no, no.
Well, they
But
told Carol Ann to stay away from the light. Carol Ann, stay away from the
right,
light.
right. Yeah, right. I probably could, give you a website where somebody could do that for you, but I'm no, I'm not doing that. No, thank you. Um, but the choices that you make in your life, I can help with those choices, giving you different perspectives of what they look like. I can't tell you what choice to make. I can't tell you what the well, and even that with telling you what the outcome is going to be, because I'm not. I don't want to say I know the future, but I do understand some things. Even with your choices that you make, I can only give you the alternatives of what it could be. Like if you make a choice to run down on somebody, either one, you're gonna go to jail. Two, you gonna feel bad. Two, you gonna feel bad. And three, it's definitely gonna come back for you. How do you want it? It's your choice. But these are the outcomes. I can only give you that. I can't tell you what to do. And I'm not gonna tell you I told you so, because I don't like that. So being a spiritual guide, I have to remain neutral. And it sucks, but it's also a good thing, because if I don't remain neutral, then that karma come back to me, and the universe be like, "Hey girl, you remember when you told such and such? Hey, that's us. Hey, how you doing?" And I'll be like, when them people that you meet, like a guy or something at a club, and you gave him the wrong phone number, but he popped back up out the blue, and you didn't even know, like you wasn't expecting to see. That's how that karma come back for me, and I'd be like, they ain't talking to me. I don't know them people. And Ciara be like, "Yes, you do, girl." I was at like, just keep going. He can't see us. And Carl be like, hey, how you doing? Hey, hey, yeah, yeah, you remember me. You gave me the wrong phone number. I'm like, what?
I've had an experience like that, so that's why I'm laughing so hard in real life, because I give out a wrong number in a minute.
Wrong number, wrong name, all of that, all of that. So I have to remain neutral. And the part of the "I told you so" I cannot say, and I choose not to say, is because that's me. I don't want that being said to me. And so I also, second thing that I value, because I do value me first, but the second thing is I value the experience. I
Mm,
value the experience that I have with people, that people have, even if it's a bad experience. And I know that's so crazy to say, but in a bad experience, there is opportunity for growth and
yes,
learning.
yes,
And so, in those bad experiences, what did you learn? And how can you apply that moving forward in your life? More importantly, how can you recognize that shit when you see it in another situation? Because you got to be able to see this stuff, otherwise it's going to keep coming back for you. And
yeah,
each level that, right, each level that you elevate in your life, those same obstacles, they come back. That's why you have to be able to see the same picture from a different perspective, because it's the same obstacles. You just elevated on the level of success to which you're supposed to elevate on. And so that obstacle is going to come back, but it has to be stronger because you're stronger now. It has to continue to challenge you, because we need to know, did you really get over that? Because you got to teach other people.
mhm,
And as a spiritual guide, I have to be able to show that, yes, I've gotten over this. Don't mean that I'm perfect, because again, I'm still having human experiences. Okay, I'm still having them goddamn human experiences, and being water does not help. Okay, again, I'm going through a bunch of different emotions in 2 hours, so be patient with me. I don't know how I feel today, so just be patient. So you have to value the things that happens in your life, because there is definitely some opportunity for growth and learning. And you don't have to value just one thing. You can value multiples of things, because everything really is an extension of you.
everything is an extension of you.
Everything. And so another thing that I looked at in terms of valuing yourself spiritually is looking for deeper meanings. Let's not do the surface level thinking, because even in school, they teach you to read beyond what the word says. And even if you got educated from the hard knocks, school of hard knocks, they tell you read between the lines. So,
And then in me, I was so literal. I'm like, it's space. What am I looking? Can you make this bigger? Is there something else I'm missing? Yeah, that was
like, no, it's not that. It's right behind it, girl. You don't see it. It's right behind it. Look. She said which, but she meant bitch. It's you gotta see behind the line. You gotta read behind what that is. So reading between the lines and reading behind the words, and looking for a deeper meaning in terms of valuing yourself spiritually. And you can analyze the reoccurring patterns through your feelings. And I know, as a water sign, I hate to talk about my feelings. I really hate to talk about them, but I've learned, and also through analyzing my own experiences, that The more I'm like, I'm not emotional, I hate to talk about feelings, I've reacted emotionally. It's just anger. That's all. It's just anger. That's it. But it's still an
You said
emotion.
that last week. It's just easier to be angry.
It's easier to be angrier. And you get the reaction out of most people when you are reacting or being angry because people respond to that. And it's a form of trauma. And so, when you recognize that about yourself, the feeling part, and you become okay with that, then you learn to control that and you learn to see that maybe this behavior is not going to serve me at this next level in my life, because you have to let go of certain things that no longer is serving you any value. And if you don't let go of them, it's going to hinder your growth. You cannot dwell on the past and expect to live in the future or even in the present and operate the way you want to, because you're so busy holding on to the past because of those feelings. You haven't gotten to the point of understanding that there's a deeper meaning behind those feelings. As a water sign, I'm supposed to be emotional. You see how I'm saying that? Because I don't even like that shit. But our natal chart, right? I don't, whatever. Look, I'm mad now. So it's okay to understand your behaviors from an emotional standpoint, that heart space. Because it took me a while to understand that it's okay to be emotional, because as a guy, all this shit ties back to. As a guy, I'm supposed to be emotional enough to relate to the person when I'm guiding them on their journey, but balanced enough to not fall into whatever it is that they have going on in their life. Because as a water sign, I go all the way into it. It'll go all the way in. And now I'm not at the point of, let's go get you some money to make you feel better. I'm not I'm not there no more. So now is I have to set my own boundaries. And so, as a part of valuing yourself, you have to set your own boundaries and look into the deeper meaning of your feeling. Like, where does it stem from? Does it stem from something in the childhood? Because a lot of times we don't realize that's where it stems from, something
Right.
in the
Right.
childhood.
And so I'm gonna continue on with how you can value yourself from a physical standpoint. And so a lot of times um, we spend so much time depicting the things that we don't like about ourselves,
Mm,
and a lot of time doing that. And so the first one is compliment and appreciate your body exactly where you are today, what you look like, regardless of the changes that you may want to work towards. So just really appreciate. And when I say your body, I don't mean just the arms and the legs and the torso, but your hair, your eye, that your physical self. Just really appreciate it. Be thankful. I mean, I can remember a time when I was super sick and I had 5 pounds of water on each side of my legs, and I really could not walk. And I had a cane, and it was very
wow.
difficult to walk. And
Mm,
I every time I walk now, I think about that. Like it's almost not a day that doesn't go by that I'm not appreciative of the fact that I can get up and walk.
mm-hmm.
Because I remember a time when it was so difficult and it was so hard, or when my muscles atrophied and I was like crawling around or whatever. And so I am always thankful. Oh, yep, I can get up and walk today. Even if I just want to stay in the bed, I'm like, oh, I don't want to get up right now. I'm like, girl, you got legs that can move, girl. Get on up, get on up. So just really appreciate what you have, as opposed to devaluing because it doesn't look in a certain manner that you would like for it to look like. Um, also always look your best. I'm gonna say this. And so remember during that time of being sick, and this is a story, which um because I had a lot of digestive issues, I didn't like things touching my stomach. So that included my underwear, my panties. And I was just like, oh, like, so I would buy like 2 and 3 sizes bigger just so that the elastic would not touch me. And
Mhm.
I can remember my grandmother, and this is my mom's mom, and she was like, you too young to have on granny panties. I'm like, Grandma, like, I don't feel good. And I mean, I need them to be big and not touching me. And she's like, yeah, but baby, they could at least look cute. I mean, the least you can do is make them look cute because I know you don't feel good, but you at least should look good.
Ah, stop playing. Grandma.
So my grandmother gave me some money. Well, she gave it to my mom so my mom could go out and buy me some attractive, bigger size panties so that I can look good even though I did not feel good. And so there is definite value in, making yourself look nice. So I'm not a makeup person. But for those who want to wear makeup, wear makeup, do your hair, I'm always, hygiene, iron your clothes, all of those things, do things to make yourself feel good, look good, make sure your perfumes or your oils or whatever it is. Uh, because I am a true believer that if you look good, you really do feel good, regardless of what's going on inside. You can just, walk by the mirror and be like, hey girl, hey
Hey,
girl.
Bo, I see you. You gotta hype yourself up sometimes. You got to. Hey, girl, look, your booty getting big. I think it
Yes, you do. You have to. And so I'm gonna look at real quick with some of the comments. Um
Yes.
which is, yes, appreciate you and who you are. You know what you are talking about. I went through the same thing too. Yeah, my aunt also dealing with digestive issues. So yeah, it's a hard thing. She also says be honest with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You really need to know yourself. And there's always so many quotes and sayings, and I know we always refer to them, but they're always so real and so true. And the reason why they're quotes that people say all the time is because they have some type of value. They have value, which
They
is
have value.
there's the book Man Know Thyself and Woman Know Thyself. So really knowing who you are is a value.
Yes.
And that part about when be honest with yourself, if you are a certain type of person, and let's say the people that you're around or society or whatever it is doesn't agree with that certain type of person, still be okay with being that certain type of person
That's
because it's who
it.
you are.
Yep.
Be
You
okay.
gotta live with you. You gotta live with your experiences. You gotta live with your choices. That's the most important thing. You have to live with your choices, despite what the community or the collective or anybody else has to say or feel about it. You are living your choice and the consequence of those choices.
Yes.
So it really doesn't matter what somebody else says or thinks about you.
Yeah.
And from a spiritual perspective, I had to really get that under control because not that I really cared about what everybody thought about what I was doing, because I mean, of course, it's gonna depending on who they are, because those that are closer to you, they have the value as well. You value them too. Um, it mattered to a certain extent, but I'm still gonna do what I'm gonna do. Like I'm
Right.
still going to move forward.
It should not break the person that you are or
Right.
what you're trying to do with your life, because ultimately what they're putting on you is still what they value.
Exactly.
It's not
Exactly.
necessarily what you value. So, as an example of that, real quick, my parents, you go to college, you finish school. I've never valued the educational school system. Never have valued it. Did I complete grammar school? Unfortunately, I did. Did I complete high school? Unfortunately, I did. And I went to a magnet school and did it in 3 years. Did I complete college? Unfortunately, I did, which people like to tease me. I spent my extra year that I got out of high school early. I spent it in college, but that's okay. I also had issues there too. But in any case, I did that. And and not because I wanted to. At every moment, I was always having a conversation of how I can drop out, and 16 is the legal age, and why you should not be in school. Um, and if you ask me today, because then people say, "Well, aren't you glad, Ciara, and you have a different perspective now?" No, I don't have a different perspective. I still don't value the educational school system. What I do
Mm-hmm.
value is knowledge. I value
Yes.
knowledge, but I do not value the educational school system that I went through or that people continue to go through.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't change, but my values were not their values. But I still went through the system because it was easy for me. Because at 16, I wasn't so independent that I'm like, I'm gonna emancipate myself and I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna go do something else with my life and I can make it on my own. No, I was like, oh, you know what? I'm pampered. I like being taken care of. So you said I need to be at school. Okay, I'll be there at what time it start. Even in college, I had a plan. I had a nice little plan. I told my mother I was going to drop out of college and I was going to work my way up to be a buyer. She looked at the plan, threw it up in my face, and threw it at me and was like, "You don't even have a job at the place that you sitting here talking about. You gonna move up through."
What do
And
you
I
think you doing?
hurt my feelings. And she was like, "Well, you know what? If you drop out of school, you got to pay half these bills." I was like, "I'm going to be at school at what time tomorrow?" Because there was there,
Right.
there was a different thing that I valued, which was not going out and clearly taking care of myself at that moment in time. So I valued being cared for more than I valued my dropping out of school activities. So
Yes. And another thing is the fight. For a while, I always valued the fight. And I know that's so crazy to say, but it's something about that hunger, that drive, that when you want something, you willing to fight your way to get it. You willing to fight out of it. It don't matter what your current situation is. You willing to fight to get out of that and to not be another statistic and to not be another whatever you see in a history book of why people are the way they are in a negative light. So you fight to get out of that. So for a while, I value the fight, but moving over here to a spiritual realm, it's still a fight.
I
It's
was just about
still
to
a
say
fight.
that. I was just because
So
I support you in that fight thing, but I didn't
yeah,
I didn't I didn't learn the fight until I got sick. So before,
yes.
whatever was happening in my life wasn't, I didn't value it enough for the fight. But when I got sick and they told me, this is who you're gonna be for the rest of your life, and you're not gonna be any better, and you're gonna be on Social Security and blah blah blah. And I was like, "Oh, you don't know me."
Right. Y'all playing games. Y'all done, all of that. So the fight. I value the fight.
I
I
value,
value it.
yeah,
When somebody says you can't do it, I can't. Not only am I gonna do it, but I'm gonna do it in less than time than what you said. When I graduated with my bachelor's, they said, "Stephany, you'll be able to do this, but it's gonna take you about 2 years, maybe a couple months to get this done." You just said I can't. Okay, and I graduated in a year. The fight. I value the fight, but in the spiritual realm, it's still a fight. So I'm a spiritual guide for people, but in the spiritual realm, I'm a spiritual warrior because it's still a fight over here. I got things over here that I have to do, and I could not understand that for a very long time that I have to be over here because the fight. It's a fight. They calling me, especially with my cousin. I'm on my way. What? Here I come, and then get surprised when I show up ready. Like, stop playing. Y'all playing games now. But the fight is still a fight. How you fight is different, though. You
yes,
have to
yes.
choose to fight differently. You can't use this. Even though we know you got them, we know you got them hammers, but you can't use that. It's a different type of fight over there, and trust me, it's one that you gotta strategize on. I be every day like, how am I gonna get through this maze because y'all over here playing games? I don't want the dude to pop up who I gave a fake number to. I ain't got time. I ain't got time for it. Y'all be playing too much. Y'all play too much.
And so my the last one I'll leave with is speaking words of affirmation. I am a believer of that. I feel like you have to speak positive words to yourself on a regular
Mm-hmm.
basis because it's the world is telling you something different all the time.
Yes.
And if you're not valuing yourself and putting your own good energy into who you are, then you're open to all of the criticism or all the things that people may think badly of who you are as a person, who you are. Join us on our other social media. We're on Instagram. We have a YouTube channel.
Yes.
Check us out on those places. You can always go to our website, liveyou.org, and sign up for our newsletters that keeps abreast of different things. So that let people know how to go about ordering their painting supplies. So yeah, you got to give us something for us to give you a little something, something. So
Finish. Yes. Also, we do have a 15-minute free consultation
yes,
to ladies as well. And if you like what you received in those 15 minutes, we have our coaching services as well. So sign up and it's okay. Just this is another step in your life that you said, you know what, I need some help here. And we are our sisters keepers. So we
yeah.
here for y'all.
Yeah, so we want to thank you all for joining us live, for joining us when you on the replay on any of the platforms you see us on. We appreciate your time, and
Yes.
we just want to remind you to continue to love, inspire, and value you.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.